Welcome to Reddit Storytime. Today we're gonna see a post on r/IDontWorkHereLady where a lady thinks that someone works on a lake just because they're fishing on their day off. My taxes pay your salary. No, they do not. This happened 3 years ago, but my friend reminded me of it today, so I thought I'd share. It was the middle of June, and my first weekend off in quite a long time. I'd been giving my friend a never-ending rain check of promising to teach her to fish. Our schedules finally lined up. Weather's perfect. It's fishing time. We arrive at a local lake. It's the type where you don't need a fishing license, just a pass for the lake. Money goes to the city. We buy our passes from the concession stand and head back to my car to get the gear. I bought 3 setups, one for me, one for my friend, one just in case. It was a really busy Saturday morning, lots of people. We do a mini hike across the lake to get to our spot and to get fishing. Friend learns quickly, we catch a few before the sun's all the way up. We're pumped how well the day is going and decide to take a lunch break when it starts to get hot. At about 11, we take the stuff back to my car. We chill, eat, hydrate, and head back. While we're walking back, a group of kids break away from their families to follow us around. They were all boys, 4 of them. 3 of them probably around 8 to 11 years old, and the 4th is maybe 6. I'm thinking they just want to watch us fish, and they likely told their parents where they were going, so I didn't even think about it. We get back to our spot, but the kids are trying to follow us down the hill. The top of the hill has a trail. If you're careful, you can climb down to reach a small landing that's close to the water's edge. It was stressing me out watching these kids try to climb down, so I yell up to them that there's a safer place for them to watch. Basically next to us, easier to get to, but there's a gap in between the landings. Once they got down, they decided to have a rock skipping contest. Not exactly polite to do that next to people fishing, but I let it go. Then these kids decide to have a jumping contest. They're jumping from their landing to our landing back and forth. There's only a 2-foot gap, but if they fell, they'd definitely get hurt. Friend is getting more stressed than me watching them. Makes them promise her to be careful. They said what I probably would have said when I was their age. Fine. Whatever, guys. The ringleader of the group, oldest, maybe 11, then asked me if they're allowed to fish. I asked them if they have a pass. Stupid me. They said yes in unison. I tell them if you got a pass, you're good to go. Ringleader puts his hands on my fishing pole that I'm holding still and asks if he can use it. I pull away, say, "No, bud, I'm using it." He picks up my just-in-case pole without asking and says, "What about this one?" "No, that one's mine, and I don't want you hurting yourself with it." Little brat gives me attitude and shouts, "Well, what can I use?" I didn't even know what to say at first, but I pulled out Old Faithful, "Go ask your parents." It worked, they immediately left. About 20 minutes later, we hear a large group of people coming down the trail. It's the kids and their families, and the kids are whispering and pointing at me, mostly just ringleader. A female, a bit older than me, guessing mom, angrily makes her way over to the spot and lays into me. I don't remember everything, but the general consensus is that I'm ungrateful and need to get shot. Her words. Kids are still close, so I decided to keep it PG. I also have a little issue with my hearing. If something is too loud, I can't usually make out the sound. Like if you're yelling at me, I'm not going to get every word. I explain that I can't hear her when she raises her voice. She starts yelling louder. I'm getting nothing. Friend is mortified. I stare at her until there's a break and say, "Yeah, I didn't get a word of that." She almost starts to go off again when the husband/boyfriend/older brother shouts something at her in another language and she stops. Angry lady. "Did you tell these boys they couldn't fish?" Me. "No, I said just the opposite." She's stunned. AL. "Why can't they fish then? They're allowed to fish at the lake." Me. "They can fish. They're absolutely allowed to fish here. They just can't use my stuff." AL. "Why not? Everyone else here is fishing. The lake is owned by the city." Me. "Yep, sure is." Blank stares for way too long. AL. "You need to teach them to fish." Me. "Miss, I can't watch all of them. What if they hurt themselves?" AL. "Yes, you are. My taxes pay your salary." Me. "No, they do not." AL. "Yes, they do. I pay taxes, and taxes pay for this lake, and they better not hurt themselves, because if they do..." Me. "You think I work here?" More blank stares. Me. "Miss, I work at place I used to work, doing thing I did while I was there." Even more blank stares. Me. "I fix computers." I didn't, but it's easier to say than explain what I really did. Silence. This poor lady looks so embarrassed as it clicks that I'm just a person fishing on their day off. But I don't even get an apology, no recognition that she was wrong. She just climbs back over to the rest of the family as they quietly speak amongst themselves, walking away in their shame. Well, they're finally out of sight. Friend and I give each other the "what the hell just happened" look and break into the most beautiful 45-minute session of uncontrollable laughter I've ever had. Sometimes these stories sound so dumb that they seem fake, but then I remember how some people are and it just makes me realize these are real. Our next post is about a Karen screaming at a guy for some bathroom keys because she thinks he's an employee. Of course. No, Karen, I cannot help you go to the bathroom. In high school, I worked for a national movie theater chain. While they've since changed them, the uniform at the time consisted of navy blue trousers and a red polo. Nearby, in the same plaza, there were several restaurants and fast food places. Among these was a Panda Express. During my 15-minute break, I'd been at Panda, and in line ordering and waiting to pay for my food. I was minding my own business and hoping that I could get out of there quickly enough to have time to inhale my orange chicken prior to darting back to the box office when my break ended. I'm a bit zoned out, so I become rather startled upon an abrupt "ahem," accompanied by a tap on my shoulder. I turn and took in the sight of what we all know now to be a Karen. Me. Oh, sorry, was I in your way? This is my default line of thinking, and I have terrible social anxiety. Karen. I need to go to the bathroom. Me. Pointing. Well, it's over that way, I think. Karen. I know that, obviously. Me. Confused at this point, because I'm not at all in the way of her getting to the bathroom, and now she's admitted to knowing where it is. I don't know what. Karen, shouting, I need the key! At this point, it's time for me to pay for my food. Remember, I'm on the outside of the glass counter and waiting in line. I figure maybe she's trying to get past me to ask the cashier for the bathroom key, so I step back and make room for her to go ahead of me. She doesn't. Karen, I asked you for the bathroom key. Do you not know how to do your job? I finally realize that she thinks I'm employed there. I guess maybe it's because my work shirt is red and so are the employee uniforms there. Me, awkwardly pointing at the cinema logo on my polo. I'm just on my break. She must not have looked at the gestures I'd made to the uniform of the company I'm actually employed by. Karen, is this your manager? Turns to the cashier. Your employee is so rude. Just because she's on her break, she's refusing to help me go to the bathroom. She needs to be fired. Cashier, ma'am, she doesn't work here. Will you be purchasing a meal? Our restrooms are for customers only. Karen sputters, then turns and storms out of the place to terrorize some other establishment with a public restroom. They totally allow people to use the bathroom without buying food, by the way. I think they just wanted her to leave the store because of the scene she'd made. I love when employees don't deal with these type of customers. She did not need to be so rude for no reason. Our next post is about a nice guy who had to do someone else's job because they're too lazy to do it. I don't work here, and I'll shame you for not helping. I was at a big box electronics store where the employees clad in blue polo shirts are known to be expert ninjas in escaping customers. I was wearing a blue button-down, unsuccessfully trying to find a network card. Not a specialized card, just a network card, when a customer asked me a question about video cards. I watched a blue-shirted employee slink behind an aisle to escape the customer. I got a little pissed and thought I'll do this jerk's job for him. I could see he was just standing in the other aisle listening, so I proceeded to help this nice but confused man. He needed a video card but didn't know what to buy. So I worked with him on what he was going to use it for and was able to suggest a card for him. Just as I finished, another customer who was patiently waiting for me to finish with the first customer had a hard drive question. After working with him for a few minutes, I had him sorted right as another customer started to ask me for my help. By this time, a squadron of geeks stopped their work to watch what was going on, slack-jawed that someone was actually helping customers. Imagine 5 stunned Napoleon Dynamites watching me, pretending to be an employee. After helping my 5th or 6th customer, I was starting to gather a line of customers looking for help. A manager finally walked over. I would guess confused someone was helping customers, and asked me what I thought I was doing. And I told him, I'm helping your customers. He was frowning now and told me sternly, you can't do that, you don't work here. I told him, apparently none of your associates work here either. I saw the hiding employee quickly look down the aisle with a mix of shame and fear on his face before he went slinking off to safety. Now the manager was really frowning, so I asked him about my commissions on all of the sales I had made. I told him I was flexible if he wanted to just give me in-store credit. He asked me if I had what I needed so I could check out. I told him, I can't find parts or your employees, so I'll just go. I thought it was a good idea to beat it before I got banned from the store. I can't believe he got banned for helping out customers. It seems not only the employees, but the manager need to be changed too.